Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to the Wildflower Wells YouTube channel. I'm Louise. It's Monday. It's cast on day here, and it's knit night. We're going to sit here for an hour. We're going to chat about all the things that I should have been knitting, a little bit of what I actually did knit, and we're going to kick it all off with the voting for what you all voted for. I had two skeins of yarn. We'll talk about the voting. And then we'll talk about the project that I'm going to do with this yarn for this week. Okay, so the yarn. I pulled out yarn out of my stash. If you've been watching the last couple of weeks, you'll know that I have been inspired by Jocelyn from Northern Knits podcast to sort all of my yarn. It has proven to be a massive undertaking, which really is no surprise. But you know how sometimes you think you're going to clean and like you can just like whip through everything and get it like all done? Yeah, that didn't happen. I got a good start and I did a little bit more this weekend and I'm on vacation next week, so I'm hoping that I will be able to get a really good chunk of it done next week. So I woke up this morning, Monday morning. This is how the Monday morning new starts go around here as I wake up and think, what would I like to knit this week? And I was kind of like coming and hawing. I'm like, do I want to do something else, like a little knit for my granddaughter? Do I want to do something for me? Do I want to do, what was I feeling this morning? And I'm like socks. And I know everybody's probably going to go, oh, Louise, why are you doing socks? You already have like 10 on the needles, probably. But I'm really sort of kind of close to having two pairs finished. So I thought, I think I should do another pair. And I really want to try the Fleegle heel. So let's come back. Remind me about that a little bit later. So I pulled out two skeins of sock yarn that I had not counted and weighed yet because all of that yarn that I've counted and weighed, I now cannot knit with because I can't mess up my total before I get all of the yarn gone through. So thankfully, I thought I had worked and found almost all of my sock yarn, and I did, but I kept finding more and more and more. So I have a bag sitting here that had some skeins of sock yarn in it. So this is what I came to. I came to that miscellaneous bag this morning and I pulled out two skeins. So this is what you were all voting on. And this one here, this one here is Hawthorn. It's fingering weight. So there is a Hawthorn DK weight, I think, as well, but this is the fingering weight. And oh, Woodstock is the color name, I guess. Interesting. Woodstock. Um, which is where one of my local yarn shops is, which is super fun. Okay, so the details on this 357 yards per 100 grams. It's a number one, it's an 80/20. It is a superwash fine Highland wool and 20% nylon, machine wash, tumble dry, from Knit Picks. Did I say Knit Picks? Knit Picks Hawthorn. So really, really pretty. It's like a rosy red with bits of gray. I think that looks pretty close to what the color looks like in real life. So, oh, Susie, finding more would be a happy dance. Well, it is, but it's also like, holy crap, where am I going to put this? My sock yarn shelf is getting full. So, I mean, it is always fun. Who doesn't want to find more pretty sock yarn, right? But holy moly, at some point, it has to come to an end. And then look at this gorgeous. Now, did I just lose the ball band off this? Probably, maybe. This was the Leo and Roxy. And it was a one of a kind, which means I probably think I picked this up maybe at Woolstock last year or the year before. But it's so pretty. Like, look at those blues. You wonder why something becomes a one of a kind, unless this is um, supposed to have been. I'm not familiar with all Leo and Roxy's colorways, so maybe this was actually is close to one of their regular colors or was supposed to have been one of their regular colors and something just, you know, happened as it does. And so it didn't turn out quite the same as it should. But anyways, it's really gorgeous, isn't it? Like emerald green. And then look at that like pop of like what would you call that? Like, I don't know. Is that royal blue, electric blue or something? Yeah, really nice. This really makes me think of the beach and the water. Super, super pretty. Oh, Liz, you didn't see the blues? Yeah, I know. Just the way it's wound, right? You don't always see all the colors in there. Yeah, when you look at it like that, it just looks like shades of green, doesn't it? And it's funny because when I first was going to put this up, I instead of doing left and right, I was going to do blue and pink. And then I actually got looking at them and I thought, okay, yeah, maybe it's not. I'm like, is it blue? Is it green? And then I'm like, is it pink or is it red? So I just went left and right. I thought we'll just go left and right and not try to decipher colorways. So there was a lot of votes. We had a little bit more voting going on than I mean, a little bit more. I think we had 123 votes, is what I just sat here and counted. And it was close. It was close, close, close. And for once, um, usually Instagram stories is a pretty good indication of how the voting's going. Not always, because sometimes Facebook surprises and votes the total opposite way of Instagram. And when I was counting the votes, I thought, okay, I'm like, okay, I know which one's winning here, right? And then all of a sudden, I was like adding up and the votes, and I'm like, wait a second. All of a sudden, the one that was kind of the underdog, it it really picked up. Let's say that. Oh, Liz, still going with my original vote. What was Did you vote for the pinky colors then because you didn't see the greens or the blue? Anyways, well, Anne says we all know you'd pick socks. I know. I'm really feeling like this is my sock knitting year. So we'll see how it ends up at the end of the year when we do the yearly recap. We'll see how well I did with my sock knitting goals. Okay. Oh, Liz is giving me the drum roll here. Oh, Hey, Carol, I just took the shawl off my needles. That's so exciting. Okay, well, tell you who. So there were some people who definitely said Leo and Roxy. And whether that's because this is like this is a Knit Picks, which is a commercial dyed yarn. This is an indie dyer, hand dyed. Does that make any difference? They're both 80/20. I do remember I did look at the tag that I have now since lost. This is an 80/20. It's a superwash merino. So they're both gorgeous yarns. They're both super, super soft. They both have nylon, so perfect for sock knitting and wearing. Um, yeah, they're great. There was a few people who were like, "Oh, definitely Leo and Roxy." Some people said, "Oh, I have some of this hawthorn in my stash. I'd love to see how it knits up." So the votes are in 123 votes over YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. You can vote all the places if you really, really want something to win. And the winning yarn had 51% of the votes. So it ended up really, really close. And really, I mean, it should be close, right? Because they're super, super gorgeous, super gorgeous. And the one that I'm going to be casting on after I get the skein wound, and you guys, I have needles. I have needles. I don't even have to look for needles. So it's definitely a sock knitting week this week. The yarn with 51% of the votes goes to, insert dramatic pause here. The one I'm casting on is Hawthorn. You guys, this one was in the lead. I took a quick peek a couple times throughout the day. I went and I looked on YouTube here. I looked on probably Facebook, and I just kind of scrolled, and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, definitely more going this way. And then at the end, when I added them all up, Instagram stories was so, so close that they really like 51%. It got super, super close. So that is exciting. So I cannot wait to cast these on. In my cleaning up, I found a whole bunch of DPNs. So I found at least two of the Knit Picks sets of DPNs. And I think they were both wooden. One might have been wood, one might have been nickel, but there was two of them. And they had almost all the needles in there, you guys. I know. It was like so exciting to find needles. So I am set. I will just wind this tonight and I'm going to cast on. I think I'm just going to do just a plain vanilla sock, 64 stitches, couple of inches of ribbing, just do a plain leg, just let this lovely yarn shine, and then I think I'm going to do the Fleegle heel because I've been playing around with different heels. And what have I done? I have one Fish Lips Kiss heel done, and it was fun to do. So I just have to do the second one. And then I'll show you a sock. Why don't I show it to you right now? This one has the garter stitch short row heel in it. So I'm thinking I'll do the Fleegle. The Fleegle and the Shadow Wrap, those are two that I have been hearing a lot of people chat and talk about. So those are kind of two that I want to do. So Fleegle is the one I think I'm going to do on this Woodstock yarn. Hawthorn. Isn't that so pretty? I know, Liz, that's amazing what organization can uncover. I know. And it's just like, I don't even remember where I found the needles. Like they were either shoved in a bag, probably in a bag. I'm like, huh, I wonder how long ago I stuck that in there and forgot about it. So, anyways, I am set with needles, which, no, and actually, no, these are some good old Susan Bates. Or what's the other? I'm drawing a blank. What is the other one? Yeah, anyways, what are Arrow. Thank you, Susanna. Arrow, that's it. I'm like, I'm so glad you guys know what I'm thinking when I lose the words. Arrow and Susan Bates. I have a bazillion, and that's only slightly exaggerated. Oh, Louise says boy. Yeah, boil or arrow. Yes. Arrow was what I was thinking of. I have a lot of these, and I had to go to my little flower vase that has all these needles in here, and I was managed to find four, three, three and a halves to finish my DK sock. So I think we kind of figured that this is a Knit Picks yarn, probably Hawthorn again in the DK. My poor ball is getting a little. It's been in and out of project bags and shoved in my purse. I'm tempting yarn gods here with a very, very tangled mess. But it was worth it because I have my toe done. I just I opted to eat when I got home tonight instead of Kitchener stitching. It was like, do I Kitchener stitch the toe or do I eat? And I'm like, I'm really hungry. So sock is like done, but not done. Just need to Kitchener stitch. But and it fits absolutely perfect. I am like really, really happy with this. So I'm going to turn right around and cast on sock number 2. I did this on a little 9-inch circular, which is what it was sitting on here until I did the toe decreases. So it is, yeah, I tried it on. It's perfect. I went down to 12 stitches, 24 stitches, I think is what I went down to. Anyways, it fits, so I'm just going to Kitchener it and start the second sock. So this is one of the pairs that I'm, close to being done, so I'm thinking that's why I need to have cast on another one. But I really, really like this. Like how it really looks stripy. Other than this little bit of pooling here, which is on the cuff, so you're never going to see that. The rest of the sock looks pretty stripy, which I really, really like how that knit up. So I liked it. The garter stitch heel, you guys, garter stitch short row, so, so soft and squishy. I love it. And I thought that would pair up really well with the DK sock yarn, something that the sock is a little heavier and then have like a really soft, squishy heel. I think it worked out really, really good. So fingers crossed, maybe we'll have a finished pair in time to wear them when it cools down. We're having a little bit of a heat wave again. It's been really hot. Like really hot as in like just summer hot. No heat warnings, thank goodness. But just, yeah, good old July summer weather, right? Where it is just hot. So no DK socks yet. But, time ticks, and before we know it, fall will be here. So I worked on that sock, working on the toe. Let me just grab, I kind of have been carrying around these core projects and working a little bit on a few of them. So, I am gonna show you this project. Will I? Maybe not. This project, you're gonna see this Wednesday night. Maybe I will just hold off on this one. This is my goal knitting with Jocelyn. Yeah, I think I'll wait. There's a little teaser for Wednesday night. Jocelyn and I are going to be chatting, so we'll wait. We'll wait. Um. Oh, I have not been knitting with this, but I have been knitting. My project bag was almost out of reach. Look at this gorgeous bag. I love this bag so, so much, and it holds so many projects. Is what I'm looking for in here. It's not. Uh-oh. Hmm. Okay, maybe we'll have to talk without the project. Okay, remember a couple of weeks ago when I was on vacation, and this was vacation yarn, and you were voting for this. This was the yellow, what was it called? Zest. Zest. And then there was a nice bluey tealy color that was called vacay, the blue color one, and I cast on a little hat for the Fiber Friends challenge. Darn, I wanted to have that done for Wednesday. I don't know if that's gonna happen or not. I cast on with the blue. It is so nice. And apparently I don't have it with me, which is a little, gonna have to go see where I had it last. Anyways, you will just have to envision how it looks. I cast on 60 stitches and did one by one ribbing, and then it goes into a textured stitch. It's going to be a little hat for Scarlett for the winter. I really debated between 60 and 72 stitches with this worsted weight yarn. This was supposed to have been the Nydia hat designed by Vanessa Smith. And in the end, the last minute, just before I cast it on, I was like, I don't know if it's really the hat I want. So I looked through more of her patterns, and I came up with Aslan. And it looks really, really pretty. Beautiful textured stitch. And I think it's going to look gorgeous in the blue. So that, yeah, last minute, just before I cast on, I switched patterns. But again, I was having, if you heard Cheryl and I chatting on Saturday, that my problem, not really problem, but I bought the worsted weight yarn because I loved the yarn, but all the hat patterns that I want to knit are DK. So I'm just having to do a little bit of juggling with the numbers. But 60 stitches fit Scarlett nicely. She was over on the weekend and I plunked the ribbing over her head and it looks like it's going to fit nice with some stretch. So I think it's good. I'm just going to go with that and hopefully it still fits her by the time fall rolls around. But the yarn is super nice. So remember we talked a couple of weeks ago about this yarn. So it's tones. So it's Brooklyn Tweed and they have overdyed and underdyed, overtone, undertone, overtone and undertone. So I actually didn't have to do that much research on this because it is also a woolen spun. So I did do a little bit of investigating about woolen spun. And now, you guys, I just want to spin everything. So stay tuned. But on the inside of this ball band, it gives you some of the information about the overdye. What do I call overdying? So let me just read it. So it says one color, two shades. So this yarn also is 100% American. So it gives you lots of good information on the inside here. So it says origin is Johnson County, Wyoming. YW. No. WY. It's got to be Wyoming, right? It was scoured in San Angelo, Texas. It's spun in Two Rivers, Wisconsin, dyed in Philadelphia, and designed in Portland, Oregon. Like, how super cool is that? So, and they have the little logo here saying American wool. I like that a lot. So one color, two shades. So overtone is light, undertone is darker. Each base in tones palette generates a pair of harmonious shades. We start with a light and a dark heathered base yarn to create tones pairs using traditional overdye techniques. Choose your favorite color's overtone for a lighter, brighter version of the hue, or its undertone for a darker, more subdued version. And the blue that I'm using, the Vacay, it is the darker version. The Zest, this is the brighter version. So anyways, and I did see, because I didn't realize when I was shopping that that's what it was. It was two, what did it like two shades? Yeah, one color, two shades. And I picked up two of the skeins of the blue and I looked at them like, that can't be the same dye lot. But obviously I had one of each, one of the over and one of the under, and I went with the darker tone. Anyways, it says mix and match your over and undertones and colorwork stripes, which would look really great doing like a brioche. If you have the one color, two shades, that would look really, so yeah, I'm really excited about that dyeing technique. It's a super great idea to do. Anyways, that is that about the yarn. So that's the dyeing. And then the woolen spun. Oh my gosh, you guys. So some of you who dye are going to know all of this. I just did a little bit of Googling and I watched a few YouTube channels about woolen spun versus worsted. It feels super, super light, which is why I was so drawn to it. And so the gist, I'll give you like a quick version of what I Googled. And it is, so there's worsted and woolen spun. Worsted spun does not mean the weight of the yarn, not as in worsted like we typically do. It's how the fibers, how straight. Worsted fibers are combed straight and then it's spun. It gives a little more sheen and more durability, I think it was. So that's why most of our yarns are spun that way. The woolen spun, the fibers are not combed straight. They're kind of a mishmash each way. And then they're spun. And then that lets more air inside the fibers. And that's where it gets the softness, the loftiness, the lightness from. And it's also super warm. But it's not as durable. So anyways, there's always pros and cons to each. One of the videos that I watched, they were talking about, I think about woolen having shorter fibers and causing some shadowing of your stitches. So really you could get really intricate, right? Figure out what you're going to knit. And then if you want the sheen of a worsted, if you want the softness and lightness, but the warmth of a woolen spun, And then texture or your stitch definition shows up better in worsted than the woolen. The woolen kind of has a bit of a halo to it. So anyways, lots of really, really good information. And I was kind of hoping that I'd be like, "Oh, I don't like this." But I was like totally the opposite. I'm like, "Oh my goodness. I now need to do this. I want to spin everything. I need to pull up my fiber, which I will get to when I'm organizing because right now there's a couple totes in front of my fiber closet, so it's a little hard to get to. But anyways, it was really, really interesting finding out the difference between the woolen and the worsted spun. Something I think I'm going to play around with and see what I come up with. Anyways, so that was it. So I have a little baby hat, not a baby hat, a toddler sized hat started in the blue. I don't know what I'm going to do with this yellow, but I do like it. It is very loosely spun. Um, I did notice like when I had to cast on because I wasn't sure about how many stitches I wanted. So I cast on, I pulled it off, I cast on again, and it was starting to come unplied. But now that I'm actually just knitting with it, I'm really quite liking it. I don't find it splitty. It's just really, really nice. So that I will show that to you when I find it. Maybe it's in the bot. No, it does not. I was gonna say maybe I'll surprise myself and I'll find it in the bottom of one of these project bags, but I don't think so. I've stuck it away somewhere. I was just working on it a couple days ago, so it can't be too far. Anyways, that'll be a project for next week, but the yarn is really, really nice. I'm really, really liking it. So this here, I don't think I did much on this from what I showed you last week, but this is one that I really want to work a lot on in the next couple of days because I really want Scarlett to be able to try this on when I see her this weekend. But look at that lace, you guys. Oh my goodness. This is the Norwegian fur baby sweater. I'm knitting an 18-month size with a size bigger needle than it calls for. I'm hoping that it's going to be just a little bit big on her right now, so it'll fit fine in a month or two. Anyways, it's super cute. Top down raglan. The raglan increases are done with the lace. Love, love, love this so far. It's been such a fun knit. The only thing with it is it's not a mindless knit, so it's kind of you can't binge watch something or it's not a knit night project. So that's the only reason that I haven't just knit tons and tons and tons on it because I have to just do a few rows because you have to read and count and all those things. But it is so worth it. It is so super cute. I did a little bit more. This is my go-to project when it's like knit night or something. Okay, where am I here? Okay, Yarn Bee, Hobby Lobby. What is it? Rainbow Rhapsody. Oh, Suzanne is saying yes. WY is Wyoming. That's what I thought it must be, but um anyways, Teal of Fortune. I have not got anywhere near the teal yet, but I did get a couple of shades of gray, which is really nice. It's always fun. Look at that. See, there's the dark one that I just started. And does this here show there? Oh, yes, right there. Very, very subtle right there. There's a color change right there as well, which I didn't notice. I thought all of this was one shade of gray until I actually took it outside in the natural light and I could see that there was another it's like really subtle. Now I'm like, can I even see it now? There was a bit of shadow here. Anyway, there is. So I had done a color change before and didn't even realize it. But here I'm into this one with the darker gray. So that's always fun, right? So there I am in the ball. Got a little bit of this gray to go. And then it's the teal. Gray is nice, but I'm like really, really wanting to like knit, knit, knit till I get to the teal. So this is it. It's growing slowly and steadily. This is just a garter stitch asymmetrical shawl. There's my stitch marker. So that's what I did. I might have done a few more rows than that this week. I might have put that on there maybe Friday. This was maybe the weekend's knitting. But slow and steady, it's a good project, and I'm not real I'd like to have it done, but when I finish this one, I'm just gonna cast on another one because I just always wanna have one of these shawls on the needles. The only thing that's making me think I need to hurry it up a little bit is that I wanted to do a couple of more of these for gifts in December. Oh my gosh, you guys, I did find it. I'm like, okay, you have too many projects shoved into a project bag when can't tell what's in the bottom. Okay. All of that talking and I didn't have the yarn. Here it is. Here it is. So when I did wind it, I don't know if I told you that the yarn was broke. So I've got two small balls. This feels so nice, you guys. This is why I think I'm like so obsessed with the woolen spun. Like it feels so light. Scarlett was playing with this. I don't know if you saw my Instagram stories or not. It's probably not there now. I think it's probably expired, but or gone, been past 24 hours. She was playing with this and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, this is such a good sign because this is 100% wool." It's not real itchy at all, but it is wool. And it did not seem to bother her. She was playing with my knitting needle and it was very, very exciting. So this first little bit, I have it almost knit and I was going for 2 inches is what I'm kind of tweaking the pattern a little bit. It had a folded brim on it, like a folded hem. And I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to do 2 inches and then I'm going to move on to the pattern. So this is it. I'm loving it so far. I love the yarn. I love the color. This is the vacay, the Brooklyn Tweeds tones that we were just talking about. Love the color, love the yarn, love it all. Okay, so I did find the baby hat. Fantastic. Okay, baby hat. A little bit done on my shawl and not too much done on the sweater, but I'm on vacation, you guys, at the end of the week. So I am hoping next week is going to be a good knitting week. And I'm going to work through some more of these projects. Do I have, oh, I do have a little bit of start from last week's. Um, oh, I know. Liz isn't very happy with me. She says, "Hi, Louise. It isn't like you don't know somebody who makes project bags." Cheryl from my needle crafts. Yes, you would be right. Separate bags for separate projects. I know, but then I'd have a bazillion bags. Um, Last week's project was the pillow. So the pink crazy sexy wool and the white was Universal Yarns something something. I haven't even started the white, you guys, so don't get too excited. What is it? Oh, Bee Wool. Bee Wool. That's it. So yes, as you can tell, the balls are still practically all intact. There's not very much to show on this one, but I did get it started. I put these balls away. Um, got a tape measure here. I did get it cast on. And you guys all know, right? When you knit with a super chunky wool, it's not a super fast knit. I mean, it is in the fact that you've got big stitches and your row gauge is nice and high. That may be a little exaggerated, but the actual like knitting is just a little slower than quite a bit slower than with regular needles. But it is cast on. There's a couple of rows done. I did a lot of debating about what I would do with this. I had thought about doing cables. A couple people have suggested putting cables like up the front of the panel. And then I thought, no, I'm just going to do it plain. And then I thought about doing it seat stitch. And then I thought about doing it plain. And then I thought about striping it, and then I went back to doing a plain. So in the end, I just cast it on plain, and I thought, "You know what? I'm just gonna do it plain because it just I like I just like the stitch definition. I like how it looks. So I think we're just gonna go with that. And it does have 3 stitches on either end that are garter stitch. So it will have a little detail right up the side because it will have a garter stitch on either side of the pillow. Yeah. So I'm just going to work on this as well this week. It is the size wise is looking good. I held it up to the pillow form. I think we're right on track. I just cast on 30 stitches, 10 millimeter needle, which is what is that, a US 15? Maybe. Yes, it is. US 15. And I am just going to knit a big rectangle. Going to do the first half pink, the second half white, and then we'll join it. So yeah, it's nice. It's when and it won't take long because I only need 14 inches um of one color. So it's not gonna be a big super long knit. I just was really just overthinking what I wanted to do for the pillow. And for this one, I'm just going back to what we all agreed on last week is to keep it simple and just get it done. And then just enjoy the yarn. And then I'm still thinking about maybe doing some duplicate stitch. So we'll see. That's something that I can always revisit, at any time and do a little stitching on top of it. Yeah, so I think I'm just gonna knit, get it done, and use it. And then see what I think for future pillows. A seed stitch. I love seed stitch. That's almost like a tongue twister. A seed stitch pillow. That'll probably be in my future plans because I love knitting it. But we'll see because all of the new starts from now on have to be yarn, like I said, that I have not weighed, and I'm hoping to get a lot of it weighed. Maybe what I'll have to do is go through and just find some yarn and set it aside. I have to do a little bit of advanced planning, what I want to do for Monday knits, and and then bag and sort the rest and get it on the shelves. So my shelves a little fuller than it was last week. Um, a little bit. This what I showed you last week. It's pretty much the same straight across from me. Um, that there's a bigger chunk done there, but I will show that to you when it's all finished. We'll do a little tour around the room and we'll look at everything. Yes. Just the thought of sorting all this yarn. The 10 sale started in Listowel today. I'm not sure. Cheryl was debating if she was going to go today. So I'm going to have to message her when we're done chatting here tonight to see if she actually went or not. She's getting ready for a yarn show, a yarn festival this coming long weekend. So I think it was really going to depend on how she was with her sewing and how many bags she had if if she took time to go yarn shopping. So we'll see. I'm going to be there on Thursday, so I will post some pictures and we'll see. Oh my gosh. I want to go just because I want to be there and I want to see all the yarn, but I don't want to buy very much. And okay, I just really have this urge to go look at the Croy. Um, which I know you guys are gonna say, "Oh my gosh, Louise." I know. Since I just counted most of my Croy, I'm like, "Whoa, I really don't need any more sock yarn." But I just wanna go see what there is just in case there's something that, I just might need slash want really, really bad. So we'll see. But we're on a tight schedule Thursday, so we're not gonna have a whole lot of time for shopping. but I think Sam is in, I see Sam in the chat here. Sam and I and a couple of ladies, Carol's in the chat. I think Carol's going to go with us too. Um, do a little road trip up there the end of next week. So we'll kind of we're going to go at the tail end of the tent sale, either the second last day or the last day, um, and see what they have left. Or maybe they'll have some super, super deals if we go on the last day. Croy addiction. I know, hi, Elena. I know. It's just, I know, I really don't need any, but I don't know. It's just hard to, it's hard to pass up. So, oh, my life with yarn. Hello, hello. I saw you pop in here and I didn't say hello to you. I don't think I really said hello to anybody in here. I was just so excited about all this knitting stuff to chat to you about. So hello, everybody. Wallflower, are you going through and weighing all your yarn and putting it into Ravelry? Or do you own a shop? Oh my gosh. You know what? I could own a shop. I could do, I'm pretty sure I have just as much or more yarn than a lot of the yarn shops. Oh, well, I am so glad that you are here. So, no, I do not have a yarn shop. Now, a number of years ago, I did um, sell some yarn out of my house when I was teaching classes like on a weekly basis. So I did have yarn and needles that students could pick up things, which is kind of why my stash got a little carried away. um, I am not putting it all into Ravelry because it wouldn't just never get done. I started doing that once before, but just the time it takes to take a picture and then to count how many balls you have in that color and then type it all in, that would not happen. I'm not even going to attempt to do that again. I tried that a couple of years ago and I don't know, I got like 15 things in and I was like, this is taking forever. So no, I am just, what I am doing though is I am putting it all together. At one point, I had all of my yarn was organized. I had all my sock yarn, my worsted weight, my chunky, super bulky, then all cotton, dishcloth cotton. It was kind of all put together. Then at some point, I bet you didn't sell any of the purple croy. No, I still have all the purple croy. And then at some point, my stash just kind of got to be a jumble. And yeah, and some of it somehow kind of got all mixed up. Somehow. I'm the only one who touches it. So what can I say? I don't know what I was doing. But anyway, so no, what I've gone through now is I've started bagging it because before it was never bagged and just every handling every individual ball every time you needed to find something was just a lot of work. So now I'm just putting it all together. All the sock yarn is going to go together. I've got the chunky weight is over here. Worsted is straight ahead. Back here will be some DK. Sock yarn is not even in this room. um, but at least it will be organized and I'll know, right? If a project calls for worsted weight, I'll be able to go to this shelf and I'll have all the worsted weight there. I can pull it all out and see what I've got enough color for the project. And it'll be so much easier. Like already, it just feels so much better knowing that I have all of my sock yarn all gathered up, or at least a very, very good big portion of it. Um, let's see. Oh, Louise is asking, will it be podcasting next Monday? I am going to. You guys will we're gonna try it. I'm gonna be up north, and you guys know I've podcast from there before. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I think last time I did it, I think the live was fine, but when the replay came up on YouTube, the audio and the video were not synced, and so I think if you just listened to it, you were fine. But if you were trying to watch me, the voice didn't line up, and I don't know if that was just an internet issue. So we're gonna try it again on Monday live. Fingers crossed. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, we'll chat for a few minutes and then we'll say goodbye and we'll reconvene the next week. We'll give it a whirl. We'll give hopefully and we'll hope for the best. Oh, no. Oh, it's the best. I have done it over a decade. It is the only reason I do not get stressed by my stash. I keep up with the yardage. Oh, all for easy pattern matching. See, I know, and I kind of wish that I had done it. Hindsight's 2020, right? And sometimes I think the new yarn that I buy, I would put in there. Or maybe if I divide it into 2 jobs, if I just get it all sorted and organized, then I could very easily go back and just start and do one little cubby at a time and put it on there. But right now, trying to do it all at once, I would get overwhelmed and I would stop organizing, which I think is pretty much what happened the last time I attempted it. So, but maybe now that I'm thinking about it, that maybe if I break it up into 2 steps, that might be doable. That might be doable. Hi, Karen. Elena, we're currently doing a long, slow clean out of my parents' home. And every time I'm there, I grab something from the yarn room. Um, Currently trying to knit some of it into a sweater for my kids. Oh, see? Well, that's nice. That's good to have to use some of the yarn. Oh, Sherry, how many sweater quantities, single color, do you think you have? I don't know. I haven't even. So in sock yarn, there is a few sweater quantities in colors, like, yeah, like all like one shade, one color. There's a few in sock yarn. There's probably quite a few. There's quite a few. Maybe a little bit more than I thought off the top of my head. Yeah, there's a few in some chunky. There's Yeah. Okay, the number that popped in my head, and this might be hot. I don't know. I'm thinking like sweater quantities all in one color, 30. I guess now I'll have to try and count that and see. That might be hot, maybe 20. Um, just doing a little scan around, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I'll have to once I get through a little bit more of it, we'll have to see. But I know Cheryl actually, like Cheryl told me, I don't know if, oh, Cheryl, you have around 30 as well? Okay, that makes me feel better. That makes me feel better. Um, I know Cheryl said something about, and I don't know if she said on the podcast or when we were just chatting, that I probably have enough stash for 2 lifetimes. And yeah, that's probably true. So I just need to get on to working my way through some, but I have good plans for a lot of it, and I have some plans to do some charity knitting this fall and winter, like end of summer into fall. So I'm hoping I can get through a lot of it. Oh, yes, Jocelyn has done she did all of her stash. She says it's way easier to organize if you do smaller chunks, less overwhelming. And that's what I've been doing. This past weekend, my granddaughter was here on Saturday, and we went beach knitting on Sunday. So I didn't have a full day to do any organizing, but I have tried to come up almost every night and do a little bit, just so I don't lose the momentum and I can just keep going, because I know it's like any big cleaning task, right? You get all gung ho, and then you get so much of it done, and then you just look at everything, and then you're like stuck. You're like, I don't even know what to work on next, right? So I do it till I hit that point, and then I go knit for a little bit, and then I think about, there was like, oh, these balls were up here, so I could weigh those. These could all go together, and then once I get a little bit of a plan, I come back up and I do a little bit more. Slow and steady, right? It's like I get a few more balls weighed, and then I look at everything that I've organized on the shelf, and I think, "Oh, this looks like really, really good." And then I look at the totes and the boxes, and I'm like, "It doesn't even look like I've made a dent." But at some point, I have to get past that halfway mark, right? Where all of a sudden it's gonna start looking like I am making a dent in it. So, and you are right, just a little bit at a time. Susanna, you're knitting a hat called Knit Night Hat. See, I love that. That's such a fun name. Um, oh, you have me beat on sweater quantities. I'm not oh, you're not a sweater knitter? I want to be, but I'm a shawl knitter to the core. See, shawls are shawls are fun to knit. Um, I know. I always have one on the needles too. Oh, your yarn. Okay. Okay. Yarning for a smile, my life with yarns. What is your actual name? My stash is 90% fingering. I have an addiction to indie dyers. A lot of us have that problem, don't we? I'm trying to not shop till I use some of mine, but I am so beyond Sable. I know, aren't we all? Yes, I know. Well, you guys, I will tell you before we wrap up here tonight. Um, yeah, I have a couple of yarn shops that I'm planning on stopping in over the next couple of weeks, like potentially, what do I have? There's the little yarn shop in Mitchell, the itty bitty yarn co, I think is what she's called. So I'm gonna stop in there. We'll do the tent sale and possibly one other, but I don't know. I can't drive by a yarn shop when it's open and not stop, but I really don't want to buy a lot, especially at the tent sale because nothing like organizing your stash to make you really rethink if you should be bringing more yarn in. Or- Oh, okay. My years, but things keep jumping in front. That always happens too, doesn't it? Oh, Kim. Hi, Kim. Oh, I've just been earning since I joined Ravelry in 2023. So just go buy it everywhere. That makes total sense. At least get one skein of local dye always. I know. It's so pretty. And it's nice to support local dyers, right? Yes, Sam, I think yes, we're gonna go Friday or Saturday. We'll have to see. I'll have to message you. You and Carol will have to see what works for everybody. Oh, that is also how I wound up having to build a studio for your yarn. Yes. So maybe don't listen to my advice. I know. It's just like one ball here and there, and it quickly adds up, right? So it has oh, that's an unusual pattern, but the body is stockinette stitch till 8 inches from the cast on edge. Oh, that's kind of fun. So you do something a little fun on the brim, and then it's just a plain knit afterwards. Sherry, you're absolutely right. Yes, organizing the stash makes you excited to knit with it. It does because it's like you're yarn shopping all over again and you find something. And most of my yarn, I remember where it came from. There's the odd thing that I'm like, I really have no idea where that came from. But like sometimes I think some of them have been like yarn swaps or trades. It doesn't stick with me because I didn't buy it. I didn't have that time in the store of like, you know, all the like humming and hawing, like which color do I want and da da da. So those are the ones that I think that I don't really know is because they just came in a swap or something like that. But I know it is fun. And it's like, you were so excited to buy the yarn when you bought it. And then it comes and sits in your stash. And then, like Kim says, you go out someplace and then you find more pretty yarn and then you buy it. And then somehow thinking that what you have in your stash you no longer like, which, you know, I don't know. And then you pull out your stash and you're like, oh, I really do like this. And then all of a sudden you realize how much you have. And I know it's nice. And it's like, you want that excitement to knit with the yarn that you bought because you bought it and you were all excited when you did buy it. So I know I is just giving me this sense of calm to have organized some of my stash because I just now I feel I didn't really realize it before, I kind of knew basically where all my yarn was, but now after getting it somewhat sorted, I'm like, "Oh, it like, how did I ever even find anything before?" So, I am really excited just to keep plugging away and, but yeah, there's a lot more to come. So, I don't know how long it will take me, and I'm not gonna put any time frame on it. I'm just gonna keep going with it until till it's done. Oh, anyways, it is very fun. Oh, so Kim says is asking Susanna, is it a slip stitch brim? I know it was made in the red black yarn, but it's been a while since I looked at it. Yeah, I'll have to go check that. Knit night hat. Like what a perfect name, right? So you guys, I'm gonna wind up this yarn tonight. And since I know where the needles are, I'm going to get a start on this. I have to figure out here shortly in the next couple of nights what all projects are coming with me on vacation. Probably all of them. I don't know. I always pack way too many. And I think I really should only work on one or two so I could get like a good chunk done. But probably my DK socks that I showed you tonight. Kitchener stitch the toe, start the other one. Like that would be a good vacation project because there's going to be a lot of people there. So it's going to be a very busy time. It's not going to be quiet. There's so just a plain sock would be a great project. And the pillow again, something simple knit that I can just sit and work on. So we'll see. I'll probably take has to be three. I can't go anywhere without three projects. And maybe they'll be maybe stick in a couple more just in case. I'm always worried, right? Well, if my sock's on DPNs and you're knitting on the deck, what happens if you drop a DPN and it goes down under the deck? Because I'm not going under it to get it after it. um, you know, Liz has finished those DK socks. I know. I think that would be a good project to work on. Or what happened? I don't know. What are all the knitting catastrophe I can't even say it. What are all the knitting troubles that could happen while you're away? And something that would happen, your needle breaks and you can't work on one project or something. I don't know. So, anyways, I just take a whole bunch and then just work on whatever I feel inspired to work on. But yeah, the DK socks, I'm thinking that would be a really good project. Oh, Kim is asking the big question is do you pack your projects first or do they get their own bag? Oh, they get their own bag. And yes, I pack my projects first. My clothes is like the absolute last thing and then I just go around and grab grab some t-shirts and like throw them in a bag and away I go. Oh yeah. Um Knitting definitely gets packed first. uh oh, Smoky Mountain Spinnery. Oh, that just sounds like a great place to go visit. Sherry, the worst thing that could happen would be running out of projects. Exactly. This is why I take at least a whole bag, if not more. I usually take like a whole large bag, and then I usually stick a couple extra, like one in my purse and shove one in with my clothes or something. So, Sam, I have not heard yet. So hopefully I'll get an email tomorrow and find out what's going on there. Um, all right, you guys. Well, thank you so much for voting for this. I really had no idea which colorway. This was the one I pulled out first, and then the Leo and Roxy was the one I pulled out second. But it was like really that was just what I found. So I'm excited for this. I think this will look really, really pretty. And who knows? I don't know. Maybe this could be a Christmas pair of socks. It could be a pair for me. This colorway would be nice for somebody that is on my Christmas list too. So it could be a Christmas pair. We will see. All right. Well, thank you so much, Kim. I'm so glad you joined us. Yes, Amber and I, Wednesday night. For heaven's sakes, don't let me forget, Jocelyn. Wednesday night is like the only night I don't typically have a Zoom call for knitting. So, yeah, make sure I don't forget. That would be bad. Oh, thanks so much, Carol. We'll see you in a couple of Thursdays. All right, everybody. Thanks for voting. Have a great week. It's the long weekend coming up for us here in Canada. I'm not sure about our friends in the US if it's a long weekend for you as well or not, but it is a long weekend here for us. So I hope the weather cooperates and is a beautiful summer weekend and everybody gets out, enjoy the summer, get lots of knitting done, and fingers crossed we've got good internet service. And I will chat with you all Monday night. Have a great week, everybody, and hopefully we'll see you Wednesday night for Jocelyn and I's chat. All right. Bye, everybody. Happy knitting.